Guys, and welcome back to our channel. So this is a new series which is the Negotiable Instruments Law. So tayo po ay mag-uumpisa sa Section 1 to 23, the form and interpretation of negotiable instruments. So before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel in order for you to be updated sa mga upcoming uploads natin. Okay, so before we move on, ano nga ba muna ang isang negotiable instrument? Okay, so from the term itself, negotiable instrument, tanggalin muna natin yung word na negotiable. So mag-refer muna tayo sa isang instrument in general. Ano nga ba muna ang isang instrument para meron kayong idea? Ang isang instrument po, usually, isa po siyang patunay na meron tayong isang, let's say, contract. Okay? Kung babalikan po natin yung, yung contracts natin, kung maaalala nyo, di ba, ang contract ay pwede po siyang mabuo verbally or orally. Okay? Without even nilalagay siya in writing, parang ganun, okay? So, makakabuo tayo ng contract in that way. However, in some certain cases, kailangan po na in writing siya. Okay? At yung written instrument na yun, isa po siyang instrument, di ba? Written instrument. Yung written instrument na yun is actually patunay na nag-e-exist yung contract. Okay? So, ganun po nag-work ang isang instrument or ganun po ang isang instrument or definition ng isang instrument. Kumbaga, isa siyang patunay na merong isang kontrata. Okay? Pero kapag ginawa na natin siyang isang negotiable instrument, meaning, meron siyang additional feature which is being a negotiable one. Okay? Negotiable instrument. Okay? So, ano nga ba? Okay, dahil sa pagiging negotiable ng instrument ito, it enables it to perform different functions. Such as yung mga nakasulat dito sa mga nakikita nyo dito sa ating video. Okay? Um, so, once na naging negotiable ang isang instrument, pwede siyang maging substitute for money. Okay? Pwede siyang maging medium of exchange for most commercial transactions. Okay? Medium of credit transactions. Okay? So, yung mga different functions na yan, okay, parang kumbaga justified yan dahil in terms of yung mga nagsisirculate na pera na talagang in-issue ng ating Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, kung minsan kulang yan. Okay? Kung minsan kulang yan. Kung minsan wala tayong panukli, kung minsan wala tayong parang kumbaga readily available cash at that moment dahil yun nga, nasa bangko. Okay? Tapos parang medyo magiging inconvenient yun if from all of the time, dala-dala natin yung cash natin, okay? So, diyan nag-emerge yung mga ano natin, financial institutions such as mga banks, 'di ba? Mga ganun, okay? And ganun din, as time goes by, yung mga businesses po natin, okay? Padami ng padami ang kanilang mga transaction or yung volume ng transaction nila laging lumalaki. Lalo na nagiging computerized tayo ngayon. So, anong nangyayari? Parang kumbaga, it enables us to perform parang kumbaga mas maraming transaction, okay? At sa padami ng transaction na yan, hindi habol or parang kumbaga, 'di ba? Yung parang kumbaga nagsi-circulate na pera sa ating system or sa ating economy. Okay? So 'yun ang nagiging problema. At dahil doon, andyan si negotiable instrument, andyan yung mga negotiable instruments, okay, para mapunan itong problem na ito. Okay. So, continuing tayo, okay? Let's discuss about the different characteristics of a negotiable instrument. Actually, there are two major characteristics of a negotiable instrument. Number one, negotiability, which will be discussed, okay, specifically sa ating siguro pangatlong video. Okay? And we have also the accumulation of secondary contracts. Compared to a normal instrument kasi, may mga certain instances na mag makakabuo pa tayo ng mga tinatawag nating secondary contracts. Okay? Later on, pag i-discuss natin yung mga different examples natin, doon yung malalaman or doon yung makikita na nag-a-accumulate nga yung mga tinatawag nating contracts. Okay? Okay. So, ayan, punta tayo sa first major topic ng ating first video today, which is the different forms of a negotiable instrument. Actually, meron tayong dalawang forms, major forms under the negotiable instruments law. Okay? Which is the promissory note and bill of exchange. Okay. Ano ba ang meaning ng promissory note and bill of exchange? Yan pong definition ng dalawang yan ay pwede po nating ma-extract from section 1 of the negotiable instruments law. Okay? Which tackles the different requirements of a negotiable instrument. So, basahin natin. Section 1, form of negotiable instruments. An instrument to be negotiable must conform to the following requirements. So, meron tayong A, B, C, D, E. Okay? So, try nating i-extract yung definition ng dalawang forms na yan. Okay? So, highlight lang natin. It must be in writing. Okay? It must be in writing and signed by the maker or drawer. So, may dalawa tayong nabanggit na tao dito, maker or drawer. So, alin dyan yung para sa promissory note, alin dyan yung para sa bill of exchange. When we are talking about promissory note, okay, we refer, okay, to it as a maker, di ba? Maker yung gumagawa ng isang promissory note. So, letter A, kapag definition ng promissory note, yung gumagawa ng promissory note ay ang tawag sa kanya ay maker. Okay? So, dapat uh, na signed, okay, nung maker na yon, yung promissory note na yon. Otherwise, syempre hindi walang effect yung specific tawag dito. Hindi po magiging tawag dito, hindi po siya mababind doon sa promissory note na yon pag hindi niya signed or tawag dito pinirmahan. Okay? So drawer naman kapag bill of exchange. Okay? So sana malinaw na malinaw po 'yon. Letter B, must contain an unconditional promise or order to pay a sum certain in money. Okay. So, pag unconditional promise, we are referring to promissory note. Okay? Promissory note po yun. Pag unconditional order, we are referring to bill of exchange. Okay? So, sana malinaw din po yun. Next, letter C and letter D. Actually, wala tayong distinction na magagawa dyan sa letter C and letter D dahil itong letter C and letter D are both applicable to a promissory note or a bill of exchange. So, inuulit ko po, yung letter C and letter D are both applicable to promissory note and bill of exchange. Okay? So, must be payable on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time. Letter D naman, must be payable to order or to bearer. So, yung to order or to bearer na yan, later on, pag-aaralan natin yan kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng dalawang yan. And yung letter E, where the instrument is addressed to a drawee, he must be named or otherwise indicated therein with reasonable certainty. So ano bang ibig sabihin ng letter E? Actually, yung letter E po ay tumutukoy lamang po sa bill of exchange. Inuulit ko, yung letter E, tumutukoy lamang po siya sa bill of exchange. Hindi po siya applicable sa isang promissory note. So meaning, yung additional party natin dito, na isang drawee or additional person na nabanggit natin which is a drawee, applicable lang po siya sa isang bill of exchange. Wala pong drawee sa promissory note. Okay? Next, punta tayo. Example para mas maintindihan natin. Okay. So, meron tayong dalawang example dito ng isang negotiable instrument. Okay? Ang tanong, alin dyan ang bill of exchange, alin dyan ang promissory note? So, pause nyo muna ang video, balikan nyo yung definition, tapos tignan nyo kung alin dyan ang promissory note and alin dyan ang bill of exchange. Okay? Okay? So, yan. Mukhang nakagawa na kayo ng inyong parang kumbaga hula or inyong analysis, di ba? Kung alin dyan ang promissory note or bill of exchange. So, ang promissory note po dito ay itong nasa kanan. Promissory note po ito. Okay? Ito naman ay isang bill of exchange. So, tignan natin ang ating justification kung bakit natin nasabi na ito ay itong nasa left ay bill of exchange at itong nasa kanan naman ay isang promissory note. So, tignan natin, okay? Unahin muna natin itong promissory note dahil mas simple siya, okay? So, August 30, 2010, okay, Manila, okay, 10,000 pesos, nakalagay dyan, so amount. Although, actually, hindi yan required na nakalagay dyan. Okay, 30 days after date, I promise to pay Juan de la Cruz or order the sum of 10,000 pesos. Signed, Pedro Santos. Okay. So, tanong ko muna. Okay. Sino yung maker? Sino yung maker? Okay. Baka kasi malito kayo. Sino yung maker? Okay. Actually, ang maker ay si Pedro Santos. By the way, SGD stands for signed. Okay, pinirmahan. Okay, kasi para hindi na natin ilagay dito yung parang actual na itsura ng isang pirma, di ba? So, gumagamit na lang tayo ng word na sign to indicate na may pirma. Pero sa actual, pirma talaga ang magpapakita. Ito for illustration purposes lang po ito. Okay? So, signed Pedro Santos. Okay? So in this case, in this promissory note, ang maker po natin ay si Pedro Santos. Siya po yung gumawa ng promissory note at siya yung nagpa-promise to pay. Okay, by the way, pag binalikan natin yung definition, di ba? Must contain an unconditional promise. So, meron siyang unconditional promise. I promise to pay Juan de la Cruz. Okay? So, yan po ay isang promissory note because of number 2. Or letter B, I mean. Letter B, di ba? Na ano natin. Okay? And ang tawag kay Pedro Santos, by the way, is siya yung maker ng promissory note na ito. So, sino naman si Juan de la Cruz na pagbabayaran niya? Okay? So, siya po yung tinatawag nating payee. Actually, yung payee ay mag-i-exist whether it is a bill of exchange or a promissory note. So, merong payee uh, on both, what do we call this, on both forms of negotiable instrument. Okay? So, tatandaan niyo po yan. And pag binalikan pa natin, must be payable on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time. So, determinable future time ba to? Yes, dahil sabi dito, 30 days after date. So, ano yung date? August 30, 2010. So, 30 days after August 30, 2010, doon siya magbabayad. Okay? So, determinable future date yun. Okay? Must be payable to order or to bearer. So, payable to order or bearer ba siya? Yes. Okay, pero in this case, payable siya to order. Diba? So, sabi diyan, I promise to pay to Juan de la Cruz or order, okay, the sum of 10,000 pesos. So, isa po itong order instrument, by the way. And later on, titingnan natin yung distinction ng isang order instrument at bearer instrument dahil yung pagiging order or bearer ng isang instrument or negotiable instrument, meron siyang effect sa pagka-create ng mga tinatawag nating liabilities. Okay? And syempre, hindi po mag-a-apply yung letter E. Inulit ko dahil hindi po ito isang bill of exchange. Ito po ay isang promissory note. So, ayan. Okay? So, ayan. Na-justify na natin yung nasa right side, di ba? Yung promissory note. Next, punta naman tayo sa bill of exchange. Okay. So, dito, same person yung mga nabanggit, Pedro Santos. So, this time, ang tawag naman kay Pedro Santos, hindi siya maker. Siya ay isang drawer. Okay? At kung titignan nyo, ang nakalagay dito, pay to Juan de la Cruz. Pay to Juan de la Cruz. Sabi niya, pay to Juan de la Cruz. Ito po ay isang unconditional order. Di ba? Unconditional order po ito. Pag binasa natin yung word na pay to, inuutusan niya. Sinong inuutusan niya? Mamaya, tignan natin. Okay, pay to Juan de la Cruz. So, by the way, same pa rin po ang pay natin dito, which is si Juan de la Cruz. Okay? And anong klaseng instrument siya? Order instrument ba or isang bearer instrument? So, isa po siyang order instrument dahil nabanggit natin dito na pay to Juan de la Cruz or order. Okay? So, ayan. And determinable future time din ba siya? Yes. Nabanggit din dito. Same with the promissory note, 30 days after date, which is December 30, 2010. Okay? And last, okay, yung letter E, na sunod ba yung letter E? Yes, nasunod yung letter E. Where the instrument is addressed to a drawee, he must be named or otherwise indicated therein with reasonable certainty. So, in this case, to Metrobank. Okay, by the way, hindi naman necessarily tao yung pag-a-addressan natin. Pwedeng bangko. Okay, so ito yung tinatawag nating drawee bank. Okay, in this case. Okay, and usually, kapag bill of exchange, bangko. Okay, especially kapag cheque yan, bangko. Bangko ang drawee. Okay? Bangko po ang drawee. So, ang drawee dito ay si Metrobank. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung bilang ng parties sa isang bill of exchange ay tatlo, di ba? 3 parties. Meron tayong drawer, meron tayong payee, and meron tayong drawee. Pero pwede pang madagdagan yan, depende sa kung paano ma-endorse yung ating, or paano ma-negotiate yung ating bill of exchange. Ganon din sa promissory note. And sa promissory note, initially meron lang tayong dalawang parties, which is the maker and the payee. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yan. Okay? So, sana naging malinaw po ang example or distinction between a promissory note and a bill of exchange. Okay? So, let's move on to section 2. Okay? So, pag-aaralan natin dito yung sum certain in money which is nabanggit sa unang, okay, unang section natin, which is, yun nga, sabi dito, must contain an unconditional promise or order to pay a sum certain in money. Okay, so titignan natin yung mabuti. What constitute certainty as to sum? The sum payable is sum certain within the meaning of this act, although it is to be paid with interest or by stated installment or by stated installment with the provision that upon default in payment of any installment or with interest, the whole shall become due. Letter D, with exchange, whether or at a fixed rate or a current rate, or with the cost of collection or attorney's fee in case payment shall not be made at maturity. So, ang tinitignan natin dito, paano nagiging some certain in money? Okay? Some certain in money. Ibig sabihin talagang malinaw or alam natin yung amount ng babayaran. Okay? Dahil kung hindi natin ma-determine yung amount na babayaran, hindi negotiable yung instrument, 'di ba? Okay. Pero ang tanong, certain pa rin ba yung amount kung merong interest or babayaran siya in installment or merong acceleration clause which is letter C or merong exchange or 'di ba, parang foreign currency or letter E merong cost of collection. So titingnan natin. Okay. Okay, first example natin, I promise to pay P or order 10,000 with interest at 15% per annum. Okay. Ang tanong, some certain pa rin ba yung babayaran? Okay? Nung payee, nung maker, I mean, in this case, dahil isa itong promissory note. Certain pa rin ba? Some certain in money pa rin ba yung babayaran? Of course, yes. 10,000. Tapos yung interest, although magko-compute pa tayo before coming up with the interest, di ba? Okay, magko-compute pa tayo. Hindi siya readily available na makikita kung magkano yung babayaran, pero possible siya na ma-compute. Tama? Okay, so pwede yan. Okay? Pwede yan. Some certain in money pa rin yan. So, kapag ganito po ang ating provision within a negotiable instrument, negotiable pa rin siya dahil some certain in money pa rin po yan. Next example, I promise to pay P or order 10,000 with interest at 18% per annum from date until paid. Or kapag from date until paid, ibig sabihin kapag hindi mo siya nabayaran sa napag-usapang anong tawag dito, maturity date, may mas mataas yung magiging interest dahil 18% siya instead of 15%, di ba? 15% if paid when due. Ibig sabihin binayar mo siya sa tamang oras. Okay, so initially 15%. So pwede ba 'yan? Pwede ba 'yan na maging provision within a negotiable instrument? Pwede ba 'yan? Yes, pwede pa rin po 'yan. Magiging some certain in money pa rin po 'yan dahil meron naman tayong parang kumbaga pwedeng maging basis or pwedeng maging reference kung kailan magkakaroon ng 18%, wherein yan yung kapag lumampas ka na sa maturity date. And usually yung maturity date nababanggit siya sa isang negotiable instrument, di ba? Okay. So ayan, pwede pa rin natin yung ma-compute. Inuulit ko, although hindi siya readily available or hindi siya readily visible kung magkano yung babayaran dahil 10,000 ang nakalagay diyan, syempre plus interest pa yan, di ba? Although hindi readily visible yung lahat ng babayaran, possible kasi siyang ma-compute. Kaya some certain in money pa rin siya. So this second example is still a valid provision that will make a negotiable instrument negotiable. Okay? Next, number 3. How about this? Tignan natin. I promise to pay P or order 10,000 with interest. Okay. So, hindi natin nabanggit yung interest rate. Pero ang tanong, some certain in money pa rin po ba ito? Okay. The answer is still yes. Some certain in money pa rin to. Bakit? Dahil meron tayong rule under the civil code na kapag nabanggit na merong interest, okay, pero hindi nabanggit yung interest rate, ang gagamitin po natin is yung prevailing legal rate, which is as of now, meron tayong 6%. So in this case, dahil nabanggit na merong interest pero hindi nabanggit kung magkano yung interest or ilan yung interest rate, okay, ang magte-take effect na interest rate ay 6% per annum in this case. Okay ba? So, sana malinaw po yun. So, in this case, kahit ganito lang po yung nabanggit, okay pa rin siya. Okay? Okay pa rin po siya. Negotiable pa rin po yung instrument natin. Next, I promise to pay P or order the sum of 1,000 pesos in 2 installment as follows. 500 on or before November 1, 2020 and 500 on or before December 1, 2020. Okay, so ang tanong, sabi natin kanina, 'di ba? Kahit na by stated installment siya, okay pa rin siya. So in this case, okay pa rin to as long as alam natin kung kailan babayaran yung mga installment, which is nabanggit ng malinaw na malinaw dito. Yung 500, yung first half, babayaran siya on or before November 1, 2020. Pag 500 naman, on or before December 1, 2020. Okay? So, bakit may magtanong dito na, Sir, may effect ba yung on or before? Actually, good question, okay? Actually, wala yung effect dahil kapag ganyan, yung pagkakasabi on or before, ibig sabihin yung option na kay yung magbabayad, na kay may tawag dito, na doon sa nandoon sa ano, yung option dito is na kay magbabayad. Okay? At dahil kung yung option natin na kay magbabayad, which is the maker usually, wala tayong problema doon. Okay? Wala tayong problema doon on or before. Okay, November 1, 2020. So, syempre, bilang isang magbabayad or parang kumaga liable doon sa negotiable instrument na to, syempre, ikaw, parang gusto mo nang sulitin yung up to November 1, 2020. And whether or not, gusto mong sulitin yung November 1, 2020, pag gusto mong parang kumaga bayaran ng mas maaga, magiging ano pa rin yun, magiging advantageous pa rin yun sa payee. Wala tayong problema doon. Okay? Okay, so walang problema doon in this case. It doesn't affect negotiability yung pagbabanggit dito ng on or before. Ibig sabihin na kay debtor yung ating what we call this benefit of the period in this case. So wala pong problema yon. Okay? So last we have I promise to pay 1,000 in 2 installment. Ito naman. Okay. In installment siya pero may problema tayo. Hindi binanggit kung kailan babayaran yung dalawang installment na yan. Although sabihin natin, may maturity date, pero hindi applicable ang maturity date dahil usually ang maturity date nag-a-apply po siya kapag lump sum, 'di ba? Or babayaran mo ng buo. Kaso installment daw, 2 installment, pero hindi mo binanggit kung kailan babayaran. So in this case, ito po this provision will render an instrument non-negotiable. Okay? So kailangan mabanggit kung kailan babayaran yung mga installment na 'yan. Okay? So hindi po ito. Okay? Hindi po ito sum certain in money under the definition ng ating negotiable instruments law. Okay, so sige ba? Tuloy-tuloy pa tayo sa ating mga examples sa some certain in money. Next, we have I promise to pay P or order 10,000 with interest at 15% per annum in 4 equal monthly installments beginning July 1, 2020. Okay, so malinaw naman siguro dito kahit na hindi mo binanggit isa-isa, pero makikita natin sabi diyan 4 monthly equal installment mag-uumpisa sa July 1, 2020, meaning yung pangalawa ay July, August 1, 2020, susunod September, and lastly we have October. Okay? So, ganun lang po yung kasimple. So, in this case, okay pa rin. Some certain pa rin ito. Okay, pero ito, may nabanggit na additional provision dito. Upon default in payment of any installment or interest, the whole sums shall become due and payable. Okay, so ang tawag po dito ay isang acceleration clause wherein kapag nagkaroon ng default, automatically, kailangan mo nang bayaran lahat ng utang mo. Okay, so this is an acceleration clause. So ang tanong, will the presence of an acceleration clause affect the negotiability of an instrument? The answer is no. Okay? It doesn't affect the negotiability of an instrument. So note, acceleration at the option of the holder is non-negotiable pero. Okay? So malinaw po diyan. Ang acceleration clause po dapat naka-base siya sa pagbabayad. Okay? Pagbabayad nung parang kumaga default yung hindi pagbabayad. So parang kumaga penalty yun acceleration clause. Pero kapag acceleration po siya at the option of the holder or yung maniningil, hindi po yun pwede. Okay, bawal po yun. And hindi naman sa bawal po yun. Pwede kang gumawa ng provision na ganun. However, it will render the instrument non-negotiable. Pero, valid contract pa rin po yun Okay, it doesn't affect the contract at all. Actually, pwede pa rin po yun. Okay, pero it will just render the instrument non-negotiable. Which is yung mga mababanggit nating characteristics of negotiability later on, hindi na po siya mag-a-apply sa instrument na yon na merong acceleration up the option of the holder. So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Okay? Next, another example. I promise to pay P or order 1,000 pesos. So, very, simple. So, wala tayong problema dyan. Yung parang simplest form ng ating sum certain in money. Okay? And, yun nga. Okay? I promise to pay P or order the sum of 1,000 with exchange at the current rate. $1,000. So, by the way, hindi. Ang pagkakaiba pala dito, dollar. Okay? So, na na over siko. Okay? So $1,000, so okay pa rin ito. Okay pa rin ito, negotiable pa rin ito. It doesn't change the fact na pwede pa rin nating i-convert 'yan, okay? I-convert 'yan into the current rate, ganun din. Actually, ganun din dito. Dito, ang pagkakaiba lang, nabanggit yung specific rate na gagamitin for conversion of the foreign currency. So, inulit ko, kapag nakalagay sa isang foreign currency yung ating babayaran, wala rin tayong problema. Okay? Some certain in money pa rin po yun dahil pwede naman siyang ma-convert into our currency, which is the Philippine peso. Okay. And letter D, cost of attorney. So, I promise to pay P or bearer 100,000 on or before December 4, 2020 with 12% attorney's fee and cost of collection if not paid at maturity. Okay. So, although hindi readily available itong mga different costs na ito, makukompute siya. Makukompute pa rin siya. For example, 12% attorney's fee. Tapos yung cost of collection, usually, hindi yan material masyado. At usually, may mga certain, parang kumbaga, may reasonable cost po dyan na applicable. Yung mga cost of collection na tinatawag natin dyan. Okay? So, inulit ko, itong last, hindi pa rin yan, parang kumbaga, negotiable pa rin yung magiging instrument natin. Okay? So, ito, negotiable pa rin. Ito, negotiable pa rin. Ito, negotiable pa rin except kapag yung acceleration ay at the option of the holder. Okay? So, next, punta tayo sa ating next topic. Order or promise to pay is unconditional. Okay. So, nabanggit natin kanina, order or promise to pay is unconditional. So, paano natin masasabi na unconditional yung promise? Okay. So, mamaya yan natin. So, balikan muna natin yung mga example natin kanina sa some certain money. Kung mapapansin nyo, lahat ng mga examples natin ay promise to pay P or order 10,000. Wala pong condition na nakalagay. Very simple. Okay. Basta magbabayad lang. Okay. Hindi niya sinabi na I promise to pay 10,000 if X will pass the CPA board exam, parang ganun. Wala po siyang mga nakalagay na ganun, di ba? So kapag ganun kasi, meron tayong condition para magbayad, hindi na po negotiable yung instrument natin. Non-negotiable na po siya, pero isa po siyang valid contract pa rin. Okay ba? Okay, so inuulit ko, yung pagbabayad sa kahit anong klaseng negotiable instrument, it must be unconditional. Malinaw na malinaw dito. Unconditional. Nakalagay dito. Dapat unconditional. Walang condition. Kailangan magbabayad talaga. Without any condition. Okay? So, basahin natin tong section 3. Ano bang sinasabi ng section 3? Okay, syempre, concern pa rin siya sa unconditional, pagiging unconditional ng promise or ng order. An unqualified order or promise to pay is unconditional within the meaning of this act, although coupled with letter A, okay, kahit na nabanggit itong mga different provisions na ito, okay pa rin. Unconditional pa rin siya. Okay? So, mag-example tayo mamaya. An indication of a particular fund out of which reimbursement is to be made or a particular account to be debited with the amount. Okay, mamaya, example tayo dyan. Letter B, a statement of the transaction which gives rise to the instrument. Okay? Kapag binanggit natin kung ano yung reason kung bakit tayo magbabayad, okay lang din. Dahil tapos na yun. Okay? But an order or promise to pay out of a particular fund is not unconditional. So, i-explain natin yan mamaya at magbibigay tayo ng example. Okay. So, ayan. Before we move on to our examples, tignan muna natin yung mga different words or phrases that indicate negotiability or non-negotiability. So, on your left, okay, ito, left, yung nasa left natin, ito yung mga pwedeng gamitin na words or phrases to indicate negotiability. However, yung mga nasa right po natin, those words or phrases alone, okay, will render, parang kumaga, pag ginamit siya alone, hindi po siya pwedeng, parang kumaga, it will render the instrument non-negotiable. Okay, so moving on, for example, due to P or order, so negotiable pa rin po yung mga yan. Okay, so very, I owe you 10,000 to be paid on, June 1, so merong indication kasi na magbabayad. However, kung makapasin nyo, I owe you 1,000. Oh, anong pagkakaiba nun dito? Okay, dito kasi sa ito, I owe you 10,000 to be paid on June 1, merong indication na magbabayad ka, which is on June 1, di ba? Babayaran mo on June 1. Pero dito, I owe you 1,000. It's just a, parang kumbaga, siya, parang acceptance or parang kumbaga, what do you call this, yung ah, parang kumbaga nire-recognize mo lang na meron kang utang pero you do not make an unconditional promise or order to pay, parang ganun. So wala kang nabanggit diyan pag ganyan. Okay? So tuloy tayo, payable, the word payable, okay ang mga yan kasi it indicates na magbabayad, di ba? To be paid, mga ganyan na words or phrases, okay gamitin yung mga yan. I agree to pay, I guarantee to pay, M obliges himself to pay, good for, ibig sabihin, good for ganitong date, pag binanggit niya, in addition to date, good for ganitong date, ibig sabihin, it indicates na babayaran mo din. Due on demand, ganun din, kapag nag-demand ka na, so, pwede mong singilin sa akin. Please pay. Okay. So, parang kumbaga order ito. Order, 'di ba? Pay. Okay? Parang inuutusan mo. Okay? Pero just by adding the word please, it doesn't render it non-negotiable. Okay pa rin 'yan, negotiable pa rin po 'yan. Kahit na medyo naging polite tayo. Okay? Pero order pa rin 'yan. Tandaan nyo. Please pay. Okay? Ito naman, balikan natin to, due, parang kumbaga mere recognition of a debt lang to mga to. For value received, ganun din. Okay? From those words alone, hindi po natin masasabi na ito po ay isang negotiable instrument. Okay? I request you to pay. Yung mga ganyang words, hindi po siya magiging negotiable dahil hindi po siya order. I request you to pay. Okay? I request you to pay kasi may word na request. I wish you would pay. I authorize you to pay. Hindi po order yung mga yan. I hope you will pay. So parang kumbaga request lang yung mga yan eh. Okay? Hindi po yan order. Okay? So, ayan. Sana nalinaw natin yung mga yan. Mga different words or phrases that indicate negotiability or non-negotiability. So, let's move on to our different examples. Parang kanina, di ba? Tandaan natin kanina, letter A, an indication of a particular fund out of reimbursement is to be made or a particular account of to be debited with the amount is parang kumbaga nabanggit sa instrument natin. So for example ito. Okay, pay to the order of P 1,000 and reimburse yourself from the rentals of my house. Okay. So ito po ay isang bill of exchange. So sabi dito, pay to the order of 1,000 and reimburse yourself. Actually, ang ginagawa dito is si drawer, inuutusan niya si drawee, which is hindi ko pala nabanggit doon sa example natin kanina. Balikan lang natin yung example kanina, di ba? Sa bill of exchange po kasi, ang condition dito is nangyayari is, si drawer, hindi po siya necessarily yung magbabayad. Okay? Ang gagawin ni drawer, uutusan niya si drawee na magbayad. Bayaran mo si ganito, si payee. Okay, ng 10,000. Yun ang ginagawa niya dito sa bill of exchange. Pero sa promissory note, siya ang nagpa-promise na siya mismo ang magbabayad. Okay, yun po ang pagkakaiba, okay? Para hindi po tayo malito, binalikan lang natin, okay? So dito, isa po itong bill of exchange, sabi niya po, pay to the order of 1,000. Although hindi po nabanggit yung drawee, pero parang kumaga, let's say given kasi nagfo-focus tayo dito sa mga specific provision lang na ito. Okay? Pay to the order of P 1,000 and reimburse yourself from the rentals of my house. So in this case, this negotiable instrument, negotiable pa rin siya. Although nabanggit yung i-reimburse mo daw, i-reimburse mo yung sarili mo from the rentals of my house. For example, yung drawee mo pala is si yung tenant mo, yung landlord mo or landlady mo. Okay? So sabihin mo, parang kumaga, bayaran mo nga muna si ganito ng ganitong amount. Okay? Tapos bayaran mo siya. Tapos pag nabayaran mo na, i-reimburse mo yung sarili mo from yung rental, di ba? Rental. Okay? Yung ibabayad ko sa'yo, parang ganun. So, pwede yun. Okay? Okay yun. Negotiable pa rin ito. Ang hindi negotiable is kapag directly sinabi mo na pay to the order of P 1,000 from the rentals of my house. Yun ang problema. Dahil what if wala ka palang pambayad, di ba? Wala ka pang naibayad, hindi ka pa nagbayad. Okay? Yun ang problema dito. Okay? Yun ang problema dito. Paano kung walang available na pondo from that specific So, nagiging conditional yung payment natin in this case. Bakit siya nagiging conditional? Yun nga, paano kung walang pondo yun? Okay? Yun ang problema. Okay? Pero pag inutusan mismo si drawee Okay? Hindi niya pwedeng sabihin na wala akong pera. Hindi, kasi kapag inaccept yun ng drawee na siya ay isang drawee ng isang negotiable instrument or isang bill of exchange, parang kumbaga nire-recognize niya na may liability siya. So in that case, talagang magbabayad siya. Meron siyang obligation to pay. Okay? So magiging unconditional po in that case kasi babayaran niya muna tapos i-reimburse mo na lang siya. Okay? Next example. I promise to pay P or order the sum of 1,000 to be debited with his current account with me. Okay. So nabanggit lang dito yung account na madedebit, okay, which is walang problema. Negotiable pa rin yung instrument dito. Dahil inuulit ko, in this case, promissory naman ito. Okay? I promise to pay P or order the sum of 1,000 to be debited with his current account with me. So, binanggit mo lang dito yung madedebit na account. Pero actually, this is insignificant. Kahit natanggalin ito, negotiable pa rin itong sentence number 2. Okay? Next. Pay to P or order the sum of 1,000 and charge the same to my account or to my share of the profits. Okay? So, in this case, okay, BOE ulit to, pay to the order. Sabi niya, may inuutusan siya, which is usually a drawee. Bayaran mo muna. Tapos, once na nabayaran mo, i-charge mo yung binayad mo sa aking account. Okay? So, yun ang labas dito. So, this is still a, what we call, negotiable instrument dahil unconditional order pa rin po ito. Parang kumbaga, it doesn't matter kung merong ano yung account ko. Basta bayaran mo muna siya. Okay? Tapos tayo na lang mag-usap mamaya kung kulang ba yung account ko or yung share of the profit ko doon sa binayad mo na 1,000. Parang ganun. Okay? Okay, moving on. Pay to P or order 1,000 on account of my contract with you. Okay? So, wala ring problema dito dahil yung order mo ay unconditional. Parang kumaga, sinasabi mo, bayaran mo muna, tapos, on account of my contract with you, parang kumbaga, ang mangyayari dyan, parang binanggit mo lang yung kontrata na naka-base, okay? Kung saan naka-base yung order mo. Pero it doesn't change the fact na unconditional pa rin yung order natin in this case. Next example, we have, I promise to pay P or order the sum of 10,000 out of my salary in the government or out of the proceeds of the sale of my shares of stock. Ang problema, ang sinasabi niya, bayaran mo si ganito, si P, gamit ang salary ko sa government. Okay? So, ikaw mismo, sinasabi mo, yung panggagalingan nung gagamitin niyang pambayad. Okay? So, conditional order ito. Ibig sabihin, paano kung wala kang sinahod? Or paano kung kulang yung sinahod mo? Or paano kung hindi mo nabenta yung share of stock? 'Di ba? Yun ang problema. In this case, magiging conditional order ito. Dapat, okay, inulit ko, para maging tama ito, utusan mo muna na bayaran nyo muna yung 10,000, tsaka sabihan mo na, okay, after mong mabayaran yung 10,000, saka mo pwedeng i-reimburse yung sarili mo from the salary na marireceive ko sa government or from the proceeds, i-reimburse mo yung sarili mo from the proceeds of the sale of my shares of stock. Doon po magiging negotiable yun. Pero from this sentence, direct kasi, direct. Pinapadirect mo siya na yun ang gamitin niyang pambayad. So in this case, non-negotiable po ito. Okay? Non-negotiable po ito. Okay. Actually, itong mga to, tatlo, yung last 3 examples natin ay non-negotiable. Dahil lahat po sila, yung common or common denominator nila, dinadirect po nila. Okay, yung pangkukuhanan ng bayad from a certain source of fund, which is, what if wala pong laman yung fund na yun? Okay, so magiging conditional payment siya. Okay, depende kung merong laman yung fund na yun or meron, di ba? Meron or wala. So, conditional po siya. Okay, so non-negotiable po itong last 3 examples natin. Pay to bearer the sum of 10,000 out of the dividends which I may receive from X corporation. I may receive, di ba? So, problema, di ba? Pay to bearer the sum of 10,000 out of my money in your hands or out of my share of profits. So, problema ulit. Okay? So, yun po. Next, what if merong statement na tumutukoy sa kung bakit tayo magbabayad. So for example, I promise to pay or order 300,000 pesos for goods received yesterday. Binanggit niya yung reason kung bakit siya magbabayad kasi naka-receive daw siya ng goods yesterday. So wala pong problema yan. It doesn't affect negotiability. Okay? So, let's move on to our next topic. Okay? So, section 4, determinable future time. What constitute it? Okay? So, determinable future time. Nabanggit din natin yan from the mga different requisites. Okay. An instrument is payable at a determinable future time when within the meaning of this act when which is expressly to be payable. For example, at a fixed period after date or site. Okay? So, for example, 30 days after date or after site, I promise to pay ganito. Di ba? Which is yung example natin kanina, walang problema diyan. Or letter B, on or before a fixed or determinable future time specified therein. So, nabanggit na rin natin yan. Parang kumbaga, I will pay on or before December 31, 2020. Walang problema din doon. Letter C, on or a fixed period after the occurrence of a specified event which is certain to happen, although the time of happening be uncertain. For example, I will pay you, tawag dito, I will pay you 30 days after the death of my dog. Parang ganon. So, although hindi pa certain kung kailan talaga, tawag dito, mangyayari yung event na yon, pero certain na mangyayari siya kasi usually na-outlive naman natin ng dog and 'di ba lalo na kung matanda na yung aso na yon. Mamamatay na yun in the near future. Okay? So walang problema dito. Determinable future time pa rin po 'yun. Okay? So same concept nung diniscuss natin sa obligations and contracts, 'di ba? With regards to determinable future time. Okay? Or obligation with a period kung maalala nyo. Okay? An instrument payable upon a contingency is not negotiable. So for example, I promise to pay 10,000 if gumraduate ka, so contingency 'yun, di ba? I promise to pay 10,000 if nagkasakit ka, parang ganoon, contingency din po 'yun. And the happening of the event does not cure the defect. Yes, that's correct. Okay? Non-negotiable pa rin siya kahit na mangyari yung event. Okay? So, example tayo. Okay? Payable at a fixed time. I promise to pay P or order the sum of 10,000 on September 10, 2020. So, fixed time yan. Fixed time. Payable at a fixed period after date. So, 60 days after date, I promise to pay P or order the sum of 10,000. Payable at a fixed period after site. So, palitan lang natin yung word yung date ng site, di ba? So, 60 days after site or after mong makita tong instrument na to, magbayad ka, pay to the order of P, the sum of 10,000. Magbayad ka kay P, parang gano'n. Okay? Payable on or before a fixed time. So, on or before September 10, 2020, I promise to pay P or order 10,000. So, walang problema din dyan. Payable on or before a determinable future time. So, on or before the start of the next school semester, which is talagang mangyayari yan, I promise to pay or order 10,000 pesos. Okay? So, yun po yung mga examples natin ng determinable future time. Okay. Next, let's move on to section 5, which are the additional provisions that doesn't affect the negotiability of an instrument. So, itong mga to, okay, kapag nabanggit itong mga ito, in addition to the tawag dito, minimum provisions na kailangan na mag-appear sa isang negotiable instrument, okay pa rin, walang problema, negotiable pa rin yung instrument natin. So ano nga ba itong mga ito? So basahin natin yung section 5. Additional provisions not affecting the negotiability. An instrument which contains an order or promise to pay or to do any act in addition to the payment of money is not negotiable. That is correct. Okay? That is correct. Kasi paano kung sabihin mo, pay to the order of P, 10,000 and give him a, what do you call this? Give him a, what do you call this? A brand new car, parang gano'n. So, bawal yun, non-negotiable na yun. Okay? Kasi in addition to the payment of money. However, okay, may mga certain provisions na kapag ipapagawa siya, okay, pwede pa rin. Hindi niya maapektuhan yung negotiability. Pero mga certain instances lang ito. At ito yung mga nabanggit dito sa section 5. But the negotiable character of an instrument otherwise negotiable is not affected by a provision which, letter A, authorizes the sale of collateral securities in case the instrument be not paid on maturity. Okay? Or authorizes a confession of judgment if the instrument be not paid at maturity. Or waives the benefit of any law intended for the advantage of or protection of the obligor. Or gives the holder an election to require something to be done in lieu of payment of money. Actually, kung titingnan nyo yung common denominator ng letters A to D, lahat po yan, yung mga additional requirements na yan or additional na gagawin ng debtor, okay, kapag hindi lang siya nakabayad, okay, para lang maprotektahan yung payee or yung creditor kung sino man yung maniningil, okay, yun yung okay dyan, okay, okay po yan yung mga yan, additional things or provision siya, pero it doesn't affect the negotiability. Ibig sabihin, kahit na nag-exist tong mga to, negotiable pa rin po yung instruments natin, okay. However, but nothing in this section shall validate any provision or stipulation that is otherwise illegal. Pag illegal provision po, bawal po yun. Siyempre, ibig sabihin, hindi po pwede yun. Parang kumbaga maseset aside. Actually, hindi niya lang po marerender yung, may possibility na hindi niya lang marender yung contract or yung instrument na non-negotiable, pero pwede niya marender yung contract as a whole na invalid. Okay? Next, kung kanina, additional provision, ngayon naman, paano kung meron tayong hindi na ilagay? Okay? Or na-omit? Okay? Ano yung mga omissions na hindi niya maapektuhan yung negotiability ng ating instrument? So, basahin natin si section 6. So, omissions, okay, seal, particular money. So, the validity and negotiable character of an instrument are not affected by the fact, okay, letter A, that it is not dated. Okay? Wala tayong problema doon kahit wala pong date. Okay? Letter B, does not specify the value given. Parang for example, for value received, I promise to pay 10,000, parang ganoon. So, it doesn't matter kahit na wala yung word not for value received. Wala tayong pakialam. Okay? Wala tayong pakialam. Ang importante doon, nandun yung unconditional promise or order to pay. Okay? Yung letter C naman does not specify the place where it is drawn or the place where it is payable. Actually, yung place hindi po siya masyadong significant in terms of negotiable instruments. Letter D bears a seal. Ano ba yung seal? Okay, may mga certain ano kasi countries wherein iba po yung pirma sa seal. Okay? Iba po yung pirma sa seal. Parang kumbaga iba yung effect niya. Okay? Effect niya in terms of binding ng mga contracts. Okay, pero sa Philippines, it doesn't matter. Okay? Whether seal yan or 'di ba, pirma lang, simpleng pirma lang, it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. Parehas pa rin po 'yun. Okay? So letter E designates a particular kind of money. Okay, so by the way, yung tinutukoy kong parehas pa rin po 'yun with regards to negotiable instrument. Okay, ang tinutukoy ko. Okay? Letter E designates a particular kind of money in which payment is to be made, such as mga foreign currencies, 'di ba? Okay? But nothing in this section shall alter or repeal any statute requiring in certain cases the nature of the consideration to be stated in the instrument. Okay? So ayan. So inulit ko, kung yung section 5 ay mga additional provisions, yung section 6 naman, mga omissions na hindi pa rin maapektuhan ang negotiability ng isang instrument. Now, let's proceed to section 7. Ano ang sinasabi ng section 7? When payable on demand. Kailan nagiging payable on demand ang isang negotiable instrument? An instrument is payable on demand when it is expressly to be payable on demand. So, for example, I promise to pay 10,000 on demand. Okay? I promise to pay 10,000 to P or order on demand. Parang ganon. So, ano na yun? Payable on demand yun. Ibig sabihin, pag nag-demand yung holder, automatically, meron kang obligation para bayaran yun. Okay? Or at site or on presentation. Letter B, in which no time, kapag walang nabanggit na time for payment sa ating negotiable instrument, yun po ay payable on demand din po yun. Okay? When an instrument is issued, accepted, or endorsed when overdue, it is, as regards the person so issuing, accepting, or endorsing it, payable on demand. Okay? So, yan, payable in demand. Pero actually, madaling concept lang to dahil, okay, yun nga, kapag expressly or kapag walang nabanggit na payment or kung ganun yung intention na payable on demand nga siya, magiging payable on demand siya. Okay? Okay, pag overdue din, magiging payable on demand din po siya. Okay? Next, we have section 8. Kailan po nagiging order instrument ang isang negotiable instrument? So, section 8, when payable to order. The instrument is payable to order where it is drawn payable to the order. Okay? Para lang po maging order instrument ang isang negotiable instrument, kailangan expressly nakasulat doon yung word na or order or to the order of, parang ganoon, di ba? Okay. So, actually, nakapagbigay na tayo ng mga examples kanina. Yung parang kumbaga, I promise to pay P or order, I promise to the order of P, 10,000, mga ganun. So, okay yung mga yun. Okay? So, payable to order pa rin siya if it is drawn payable to the order of letter A, payee who is not a maker, drawer, or drawee, or the drawer or maker. Okay? To the order of the drawer or maker, okay lang din. Okay? I promise to pay to my order, 'di ba? Pwede rin 'yon, order instrument 'yon. Or to the order of the drawee, okay din lang. Okay? Or to the order of two or more payees jointly. Or to one or some of several payees, or to the holder of an office for the time being, parang kumbaga agent nung office na 'yon, or parang kumbaga officer in charge, parang ganon. Where the instrument is payable to order, the payee must be named or otherwise indicated therein with reasonable certainty. Okay? Kapag hindi po siya kapag hindi po siya payable to the order of the payee, which is yun yung pinaka-common na example natin dito. Actually, yun yung magiging example natin all throughout our series. Kapag hindi po payable to the order of payee, kailangan banggitin mo pa rin yung pangalan ng payee. Okay? So, yun po ang sinasabi ng Section 8. Very important yung pangalan ng payee. Okay? Next, kailan naman nagiging payable to bearer ang isang instrument? So, the instrument is payable to bearer when, letter A, when it is expressed to be payable, to be so payable. So, for example, I promise to pay P or bearer, or I promise to pay bearer, okay lang? To pay bearer, 10,000. Okay, so okay lang din yung mga yon. Kahit na hindi mo banggitin yung pangalan ng payee, walang problema dahil in this section 9 wala namang binanggit na kailangan mong i-indicate with reasonable certainty yung pangalan ng payee. Okay lang na hindi mo na mabanggit yung pangalan ni payee. Sa order po yun, yung kailangan mabanggit mo yung pangalan ni payee. Okay? Letter B, when it is payable to a person named therein or bearer, okay, P or bearer, parang ganon. Letter C, when it is payable to the order of a fictitious or non-existing person and such fact was known to both to the person making it so payable. So for example, pay to Batman or bearer, parang ganun. Pay to Superman or bearer, to or parang kumbaga pay to the order of ano pala, ang tinutukoy pala natin letter C. Okay. Pay to the order of Batman, yun po ay automatically payable to bearer po yun dahil Batman, 'di ba, fictitious person or non-existing person. Pay to the order of Iron Man, parang ganoon. So wala po yung mga yun. Automatically, or although nakasulat yung word na order to the order of ganito, payable to bearer na po yun kasi to the order siya of a fictitious person. Next, when the name of the pay does not purport to be the name of any person, parang kumbaga parang ano lang, inimbento mo lang yung pangalan, pero ang importante dapat alam niyo pareho, 'di ba? Alam niyo pareho as a maker and the payee na yung tinutukoy natin doon na isang parang kumbaga hindi talaga totoong pangalan ng isang person, okay? So, yun ang titingnan natin diyan. So, actually yung letter D is parang kumbaga din siya. Closely related to letter C. Okay, and letter E, when the only or last endorsement is an endorsement in blank. So, kapag originally payable to order siya, tapos yun nga, ang nangyari, later on kasi, i-discuss natin yung kung paano ma-negotiate ang isang order instrument in contrast to a bearer instrument, okay? Ang order instrument kasi, once na in-endorse yan, yung last endorsement ay in blank, magiging bearer po siya. Okay? Pero saka na natin pag-uusapan yun kung anong implication ba ng pagiging bearer, pagiging tawag dito, order instrument. Next, Section 10. Terms when sufficient. The instrument need not follow the language of this act, but any terms are sufficient which clearly indicates an intention to conform to the requirements hereof. Okay? So, may mga certain terms na mababanggit tayo dito, pero as long as nagkakaintindihan or as long as yun yung intention, kung kumari ibang words ang ginamit mo, as long as yun yung intention mo, okay? Uh, yun ang importante actually. So, it doesn't, parang kumbaga, it doesn't affect negotiability. Kung ibang term yung ginamit mo. Okay? As long as parang kumbaga, parehas din ang meaning. Okay? Parehas din ang meaning doon sa gusto nating sabihin dito sa specific negotiable instruments law na to. Okay? Next, dates. Okay. Ano ba ang implication ng dates? Kanina, nabanggit natin na kahit na ma-omit natin yung date, wala po yung problema, hindi niya po maapektuhan ang negotiability ng ating instrument. Okay. So dito, where the instrument or an acceptance of any endorsement thereon is dated, such date is deemed prima facie to be the true date of the making, drawing, acceptance, or endorsement as the case may be. Okay? So kung may date, okay, so yun yung totoong date. Kung kailan ginawa yung mga specific things na mga yan, such as acceptance, endorsement, or whatsoever na mag-a-appear doon sa face of the instrument. Pero yun nga, wag nyo munang isipin masyado ngayon dahil pag-aaralan natin yan later on. Okay? Next, we have ante-dating and post-dating. So, what is ante-dating or post-dating? Yun po yung practice of inserting a date that is parang kumbaga mas maaga or late na. Parang ganoon. Okay. So, the instrument is not invalid. So, inulit ko, ante-dating and post-dating will not invalidate a negotiable instrument for only the reason that it's antedated or post-dated, provided that it's not done for an illegal or fraudulent purpose. The person to whom an instrument so dated is delivered acquires the title thereto as of the date of delivery. So for example, naglagay tayo ng date na mas parang late na, parang ganoon, pero na-issue lang natin after several days, walang problema po yun. Okay, walang problema po yun. So parang magiging date of issuance is kung kailan mo talaga na-issue. Okay? Hindi po natin susundan yung antedated date na nakalagay doon sa ating instrument. Okay? Next, section 13. When date may be inserted. So, kailan natin pwedeng ma-insert kapag, let's say, walang mga nakalagay na date. So, where an instrument expressed to be payable at a fixed period after date is issued undated, okay, so problema yon, di ba? Saan natin pagbe-basean? Yung, kunwari, pay to P or order 10,000 30 days after date. Okay, pero walang nakalagay na date. Okay? So, that's the time pwede nating mailagay or insert, isulat yung date. Okay? So, usually, ang susundan nating date is kung kailan siya na-issue. Okay? Inulit ko kung kailan siya na-issue. Or where the instrument of a negotiable instrument payable at a fixed period after sight. Parang mga ganun, 'di ba? 30 days after sight. Pero walang date, 'di ba? Anong basis? Saan tayo magbibilang ng 30 days? Okay? So, any holder may insert therein the true date of issue or acceptance. And the instrument shall be payable accordingly. Okay, pwede nating ma-insert yung date para magkaroon tayo ng reference, hindi tayo kasi syempre mataas ang tendency na tao lang makalimutan natin yung date kung kailan talaga siya na-issue. So kailangan natin ilagay yung date doon para at least, 'di ba? May reference tayo. Okay? At kung nakalimutan man natin, meron tayong pwedeng maging basis. Okay? The insertion of a wrong date does not avoid the instrument in the hands of a subsequent holder in due course. But as to him, the date so inserted is to be regarded as the true date. Okay? Okay, next. Punta na tayo sa mga mahihirap na topic sa ating first video, which is yung pag-a-analyze ng mga incomplete but delivered instrument, incomplete and undelivered instrument, and complete but delivered or undelivered, undelivered instrument. So ano ba itong mga to? So unahin natin yung incomplete but delivered instrument. So by the way, ang incomplete but delivered instrument ay based po siya sa section 14. Okay? So basahin na natin before tayo pumunta sa ating examples. Okay? So blanks when may be filled. Okay. Where the instrument is wanting in any material particular. So usually kapag incomplete ang isang instrument kasi, 'di ba? Kunwari mga cheque, 'di ba? Blanco pa siya as to amount, blanco pa siya as to yung pangalan ng payee, parang ganun. So yung mga 'yon, 'di ba? Blank. Okay? Incomplete instrument ang tawag sa mga 'yon. The person in possession thereof has a prima facie authority to complete it by filling up the blanks therein. And a signature on a blank paper delivered by the person making the signature in order that the paper may be converted into a negotiable instrument operates as a prima facie authority to fill up or fill it up as such for any amount. Okay, mamaya explain natin yan mayan. Huwag kayong mag-alala kung hindi nyo pa naintindihan sa unang basa, ganyan talaga. In order, however, that any such instrument, when completed, may be enforced against any person who become a party thereto prior to completion, it must be filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given and within a reasonable time. But if any such instrument after completion is negotiated to a holder in due course, it is valid and effectual for all purposes in his hands, and he may enforce it as if it had been filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given and within a reasonable time. Okay, so let's explain this provision by making an example, syempre. Okay, so ganito. Okay, si M, maker, gives P a blank as to what? As to amount. Promissory note for safekeeping purposes only. Okay? So, if P inserted 10,000 pesos and P negotiates it to A, the question is, can A collect from M if M is a holder not in due course? Or can M collect if can A collect from M if A is a holder in due course? So, tignan natin para masagot natin yung dalawang questions na yan. Basahin natin ulit. So, sabi dito, okay, nagkakaroon ng prima facie authority, okay, prima facie authority, yung holder or yung kung sino yung merong possession ng isang incomplete but delivered instrument, okay, ng na i-fill up yung mga different blanks na yon. Pero ang tanong, in our example, meron ba siyang prima facie authority to fill up the blank? And once na na-fill upan niya yung blank, pwede niya bang ma-negotiate? Yun ang tanong. Okay, so basahin natin ulit. And a signature on a blank paper delivered by the person making the signature in order that the paper may be converted in the negotiable instrument. Okay, so ang malinaw dito, okay, the paper may be converted. Okay, so parang kumbaga, ang intention ay kaya dineliver sa kanya yon dahil ang intention ay i-convert siya into a negotiable instrument. Okay? So, yun po yung parang kumbaga pinaka-basis natin in determining whether the person in possession of the incomplete but delivered instrument has a prima facie authority to complete it by filling up the blanks. Okay? So, ang tanong, balikan natin yung ano natin dito. Balikan natin yung ano natin dito, yung example. Meron ba siyang prima facie, okay, authority to fill up the blank? The answer is no. Wala siyang prima facie to fill up the blank. Bakit? Bakit? Kasi walang intention si maker to convert it into a negotiable instrument. Sabi ko kanina, okay, ito yung basis natin to convert it into a negotiable instrument. Tsaka siya magkakaroon ng prima facie authority to fill up the blank. Pero in this case, wala pong ganun in this case. So therefore, si P, wala po siyang prima facie authority, okay, to, what do we call this, to, okay, for the filling up of the blank, which is, nag-fill up siya ng 10,000, di ba, in this case. Okay? So, ang tanong, okay, ang tanong in this case, si A ba, okay, si A ba, dahil further na negotiate sa kanya, di ba? Si A ba, pwede bang makakolect kay M? Okay? Pwede bang makakolect kay M? Okay, so tingnan natin. Okay? So, kapag wala siyang prima facie authority, ibig sabihin, wala talagang intention na i-convert siya into negotiable instrument. However, na-convert siya into a negotiable instrument at further, na-negotiate pa siya kay A. So, ang tanong, si A ba, pwede ba siyang makakolekta, okay, kay M? So, kapag hindi siya holder in due course, the answer is no. Okay? Hindi po siya makakakolekta from M. Okay? Pero ang remedy niya, pwede siyang makakolekta from P. Being P, an endorser. And an endorser warrants that the, ano, di ba? Parang kumbaga, meron siyang liability to pay on the instrument. Pero saka na natin uusapan yung mga liabilities of an endorser dahil hindi pa natin siya sakop as of now. Okay, so, pero ang parang pinaka main topic muna dito is, pwede mang makakolekta si A galing kay M. The answer is no kapag siya ay isang holder not in due course. And ano ba yung holder not in due course? Ano ba yung holder in due course? Okay, later on, pag-aaralan din natin kung ano ba parang kumbaga paano ba natin masasabi if si M ay isang holder in due course or not in holder in due course. May mga certain factors na pwede tayong tignan. Pero as of now, hindi pa natin binabanggit yung mga factors na yun. So, binabanggit muna natin siya if it is a holder in due course or not holder in due course. Okay. So, kapag hindi siya holder in due course, hindi po siya makakasingil kay M. Dahil walang prima facie authority si P to insert, okay, what we call the, parang kumbaga mag-insert ng information dun sa mga blank, okay? Pero, what if si A ay isang holder in due course? Okay, so basahin natin ulit yung ating, what do we call this, okay? Ito, okay? In order, however, that any such instrument, when completed, may be enforced against any person who become party thereto prior to its completion, it must be filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given. Pero mamaya na to, itong specific itong specific provision na ito. Mamaya second example natin yan. Okay, but if any such instrument after completion is negotiated to a holder in due course, okay, malinaw na malinaw dito. Sabi niya, if any such instrument after completion is negotiated to a holder in due course, it is valid and effectual for all purposes in his hands, and he may enforce it as if it had been strictly or filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given and within a reasonable time. So, walang problema. Okay? Walang problema. Pwede pa rin. Okay? Pwede pa rin tayong makakolekta in this case. Okay? Pag holder in due course po tayo. Okay? So, kapag holder in due course tayo, yes, ang sagot po dito. Okay? Makakakolekta pa rin siya kay M. Okay? In an incomplete but delivered instrument. So, kanina, okay, may nabanggit tayo kanina na it must be filled up in strictly in accordance with the authority given. Okay? Actually, mag-a-apply po yan if, okay, yung may possession doon sa incomplete but delivered instrument ay, oo nga, meron siyang prima facie to insert information on the blank. Okay? Or to fill up the blank, meron siyang prima facie authority. So, ano nga ulit yung basis natin ng prima facie authority? Kung merong intention si maker, di ba? Na i-convert yung negotiable instrument into a negotiable instrument talaga at mag-operate into a negotiable instrument, parang ganun. So, meron siyang prima facie authority pag ganun. Okay, so in this case, basahin natin. M gives P a blank promissory note and authorize him to insert 5,000. However, P inserted 10,000 and negotiates it to A. Okay, can A collect from M 10,000? Okay, can A collect from M 10,000? Okay, so ang tanong, makaka-collect ba siya? Okay, so basahin natin. Okay, pero sabihin natin iset aside muna natin tong however, yung however inserted. Okay, so iset aside muna natin yan. What if masunurin bata tong si P? Okay, in-insert niya pa rin ay 5,000. So, ganito, kapag 5,000 na in-insert niya dyan, in accordance dun sa authority na binigay sa kanya, si A ba makaka-collect ba siya from M ng 5,000? The answer is yes, whether or not he is a holder in due course or not, di ba? So, walang problema doon. Okay? Makaka-collect siya. Pero, kung hindi siya na-fill up in accordance with the authority given, sabi dito, it must be filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given. Okay? Dapat, ang tawag dito, dapat ma-fill up siya strictly in accordance with the authority given. Dahil kung hindi, okay, ang magiging consequence ay ganito. Okay? Ito ang mangyayari. Okay? Can A collect from M? So, if A is not a holder in due course, wala siyang makukolect kay M. Okay? Kahit yung 5,000 mismo. Okay? Kunwari, makakasingil ba siya ng 10,000? No. Holder in due course. Pag hindi siya holder in due course, hindi siya makakakolekta kahit yung 5,000 na totoong amount dapat na naka-insert. Wala siyang makokolekta kay M. Okay ba? Inuulit ko, wala siyang makokolekta kay M. Zero. Okay? So, kanino siya pwede makakolekta? Sa A, kay P. Okay? Dahil si P ay isang endorser. Okay. Pero what if si A ay isang holder in due course? Okay. Makakakolekta ba si A from M? Yes. The answer is yes. Okay. What amount? 10,000 or 5,000? 10,000. Okay? Kasi nakalagay dito sa ating section 14, he may enforce it as if it had been strictly or filled up strictly in accordance with the authority given. Okay? So, yung 10,000 sa mata ng holder in due course, yung 10,000 parang kumaga as if strictly filled up na 10,000 talaga yung ilalagay. So, pwede niyang masingil yung 10,000 na buong buo. Okay? So, inuulit ko, pag holder not in due course, okay? Hindi siya makakasingil kahit na yung 5,000. Wala siyang masisingil. Okay? Pag holder in due course pero, masisingil niya yung 10,000. Kasi sa mata niya, yan po ay na-fill upan strictly in accordance with the authority given. Okay? So, sana malinaw po yun. Okay. Next, punta naman tayo sa incomplete and undelivered instrument. So, by the way, dito po sa specific provision na ito, section 15, dito po magfo-fall yung tinatawag nating real right. Okay? Parang kumaga magkakaroon tayo ng introduction sa mga tinatawag nating real right or 'di ba? Real defense, I mean real right. Real defense in a negotiable instrument. Kasi pag real defense, ang real defense po, pwede po siya maging defense even as against to a holder in due course. Okay? So, feeling ko nagkaroon na kayo ng idea kaagad or masasagot nyo na kaagad yung example natin mamaya dahil nabanggit ko na yung parang key concept dito, di ba? Na magiging real defense ito. So, Section 15, basahin muna natin before tayo mag-example, okay? Section 15, incomplete instrument not delivered. Where an incomplete instrument has not been delivered, it will not, if completed and negotiated without authority, be a valid contract in the hands of any holder. Okay? In-emphasize po natin dyan yung word na any holder. As against any person whose signature was placed thereon before delivery. Okay. So, example tayo para mas maintindihan natin. Suppose M makes a note for 10,000 with the name of the payee in blank, okay? And keeps it in his drawer. So, anong ginawa ng P? P steals the note and inserts his name as payee and then endorses it to the note to A to B, B to C, C to D, a holder in due course. Ang tanong, can D collect from M 10,000? The answer is no. Kahit na isa siyang holder in due course. Okay? Dahil ang specific defense na ito, which is one of delivery of an incomplete instrument, is actually a real defense. Okay? Which work against even to a holder in due course. At in-emphasize din natin kanina, section 15. To any holder. So, that includes a holder in due course. Okay? So, in this case, our answer for this one is no. D cannot collect from M even if he is a holder in due course. Next tayo. Punta tayo sa section 16 which will cover complete but undelivered instruments. Okay? Section 16, basahin mo natin. Delivery when effectual, when presumed. Okay? So, every contract on a negotiable instrument is incomplete and revocable until delivery of the instrument for the purpose of giving effect thereto. As between immediate parties and as regards a remote party other than a holder in due course, the delivery in order to be effectual must be made either by or under the authority of the party making, drawing, accepting, or endorsing as the case may be, And in such case, the delivery may be shown to have been conditional or for a special purpose only and not for the purpose of transferring the property in the instrument. But where the instrument is in the hands of a holder in due course, a valid delivery thereof by all the parties prior to him so as to make him liable or as to make them liable to him is conclusively presumed. Okay? And where the instrument is no longer in the possession of the party whose signature appears thereon, a valid and intentional delivery by him is presumed until the contract is proved. Okay, so let's explain this through an example. Okay, so pero before that, let's discuss the concept of a remote and immediate party. So nabanggit kasi dito yung remote and immediate party. Okay. So suppose M makes a note for 10,000 payable to P and keeps it in his drawer. P steals the note and then endorses the note to A to B to C, and C to D. Okay. So tanong, sino ba yung mga remote parties, sino ba yung mga immediate parties? Okay. So very simple lang naman. Si D, uh, siya ay remote party as regards M dahil hindi siya physically parang connected kay M, di ba? So remote party siya. Okay? Remote party siya generally. Ganon din si C. Ganon din si B. Okay? Ganon din si A. Actually, ang immediate party lang kay M ay si P dahil talagang, di ba, parang kumaga, siya yung payee niya eh. Siya yung payee. However, undelivered ito dahil uh, ninakaw ni P, di ba? Yun ang problema dito. Okay. So, ang tanong ganito. Okay? Ang tanong ganito. Um, Generally, si D ba, okay, makakasingil ba siya kay M? Okay? Makakasingil ba siya kay M? Syempre, depende yan. Kung si D ba ay isang holder in due course or not. Okay? Pero saka na natin pag i-discuss mo na yan. Mamaya muna. Okay? I-discuss muna natin yung concept ng remote and immediate party. Okay, so in this case, ganito. So, nabanggit natin kung sino yung mga remote party and immediate party kay M. Okay? So, in this case, for example, suppose D knows that P stole the note. Okay? So, ninakaw. Okay? Ninakaw ni P yung note, di ba? At alam yun ni D. So, si D, although siya ay isang remote party physically, under negotiable instrument law, siya po ay mako-consider as an immediate party. Bakit? Dahil doon sa kanyang knowledge of yung pagnanakaw ni P. Okay? So, ganun lang po kasimple yun. Kapag may knowledge ka sa mga ganyan, okay, yung pagiging undelivered ng instrument, automatically, ikaw po ay mako-consider as an immediate party. Okay, to M in this case. Okay? Suppose M delivers the note to P for safekeeping purposes only, and D knew the purpose, so ganun din. Same concept, okay? So, for example, hindi ninakaw ni P, pero binigay ni M kay P, yung note, pero for safekeeping purposes lang. Pero, despite yung kanyang authority, yung binigay na authority sa kanya, ninegotiate niya pa rin yung instrument. So, bawal yun, di ba? In this case, D knew the purpose. So, in this case, si D ay isang immediate party. Okay? So, ganito yan. Ang rule po, kapag ikaw po ay isang immediate party, automatically, hindi ka pwedeng, kapag ikaw po ay isang immediate party, okay, and yung pagiging immediate mo ay by reason of yung yung dahil dyan sa knowledge mo na yan, automatically, hindi ka na pwedeng maging holder in due course. So, for example, in this case, alam ni D na ninakaw ni P, so magiging immediate party siya. At dahil immediate party siya, okay, hindi siya, kumbaga, makakasingil kay M in this case. Hindi niya po ma-enforce yung note against kay M dahil siya ay isang considered holder not in due course because of the reason na immediate party siya by reason of yung alam niya, meron siyang knowledge of P stealing the note. Okay? So, ganun din kapag let's say hindi ninakaw pero meron lang specific authority na binigay kay P. Okay? So, such as for safekeeping purposes only. Pero, despite that, in-endorse niya pa rin or ni-negotiate niya pa rin yung instrument. Okay? At kapag meron kang knowledge, si D, yung holder natin, hindi po siya magiging holder in due course. Okay? Hindi na po siya magiging holder in due course. Okay? So, in this case, Kapag ang tanong natin dito, can D collect from M, the answer is no. Okay? Hindi po siya makako-collect or hindi niya ma-enforce yung promissory note against M. Pero kanino niya pwedeng ma-enforce yun? Pwede niya ma-enforce against A, B, C, or P. Okay? Dahil sila ay mga endorsers. Okay? Next. Okay? Suppose M makes a note, okay, for 10,000 payable to P and keeps it in his drawer. P steals the note and endorses the note to A to B, B to C, and C to D. Can D collect from M? Okay? So, nabanggit na natin yung kapag hindi siya holder in due course, hindi siya makaka-collect from M. Pero what if D is a holder in due course? Okay? Gaya nung sinabi ng ating natin dito, conclusively presume po yung delivery kapag holder in due course po yung mag-enforce. So kapag i-enforce siya ni D, which is a holder in due course if ever, 'di ba? Pwede niya pong masingilan si M. So very simple lang, medyo napahaba lang natin nung binanggit natin yung concept ng remote party and immediate parties. Pero actually, bottom line, kapag si D ay not holder in due course, hindi po siya makakasingil kay M, pero kapag siya ay isang holder in due course, makakasingil pa rin siya kay M for 10,000. Okay? In case of a complete but undelivered instrument. So, summary tayo, kailan lang po hindi makakakolek ang isang holder which is a holder in due course. Okay? Inuulit ko, summary, tatandaan lang po natin sa mga combinations na ito, hindi lang po makakasingil ang isang holder in due course kapag ang instrument ay incomplete na nga tapos undelivered pa. Okay? Pero other examples natin, mga complete but delivered, tapos incomplete but delivered, okay, makakasingil pa rin po ang isang holder in due course. Pero not a holder not in due course. Hindi po makakasingil yung not holder in due course. Okay ba? So, ganun lang po yung tatandaan nyo po dito sa mga combination na to. Okay? Ang instance lang po na hindi makakasingil ang isang holder in due course ay kung incomplete na nga tapos undelivered pa. So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Next, okay. Dealing with ambiguities within a negotiable instrument. So, paano kung nagkaroon ng mga different ambiguities? So, nandyan si Section 17 para magsilbing gabay sa atin. So, construction where instrument is ambiguous, where the language of the instrument is ambiguous or there are omissions therein, the following rules of construction apply. Letter A, where the sum payable is expressed in words and also in figures, and there is a discrepancy between the two, the sum denoted by the words is the sum payable. Pero, okay, if the words are ambiguous or uncertain, reference may be had to the figures to fix the amount. Okay, paano kung nagkaroon ng discrepancy sa words and figures? So, mas mag-ano yung mga nakasulat na words, mas magpe-prevail 'yon. Paano kung obvious naman na ang na-typo is yung words. Syempre, mag-ano tayo, parang magre-refer tayo doon sa mga figures. Okay? So for example, 1,100 pesos, parang ganun. So automatically yung words na 'yon, hindi yun natin yung susundan. Ang susundan natin yung figure na 100, 000, di ba? Parang ganun, 100,000. Okay, letter B. Where the instrument provides for the payment of interest without specifying the date from which interest is to run, the interest runs from the date of the instrument, and if the instrument is undated, from the date of issue. Okay, so malinaw na malinaw kapag may interest daw. Kailan siya magra-run? Kailan siya magbibilang? Letter C. Where the instrument is not dated, it will be considered to be dated as if the time it was issued. Okay? Letter D, where there is a conflict between the written and printed provision of the instrument, the written provision shall prevail. Okay? So, malinaw na malitaw. Written. Okay? Letter E, where the instrument is so ambiguous that there is doubt whether it is a bill or a note, the holder may treat it as either at his election. Okay? So, ambiguous siya. Hindi natin alam kung isa siyang bill of exchange or promissory note, pero nagbigay naman tayo ng di ba? Parang mga guidelines in determining whether it is a promissory note or bill of exchange. Ang problema nga lang kung pinagsama-sama niya yung mga different characteristics na yun. Yung nagkaroon ng, let's say, let's say, sabi niya doon, mayroong word na parang kumbaga order, pay to ganito. Ano na yun, parang bill of exchange na yun. Kaso, hindi niya naman nabanggit yung drawee. Yun ang problema, di ba? Okay, so, di ba? Letter F, where a signature is so placed upon the instrument that it is not clear in what capacity the person making the same intended to sign. He is deemed to be an endorser lang. Okay, pero pag-aralan natin yung mga different liabilities of different parties sa isang negotiable instruments. Okay? Letter G, when an instrument containing the words I promise to pay is signed by two or more persons, they are deemed to be jointly and severally liable thereon, meaning they are solidarily liable. Okay? Solidarily liable po sila. Okay? I promise to pay. Di ba? Tapos, dalawa pero ang person. Paano kung we promise to pay? Ano na yun? Joint liable, parang kumbaga magiging jointly liable na sila. Okay? Next, signing using a trade or assumed name. Okay, so liability of person signing in trade or assumed name. No person is liable in the instrument whose signature does not appear thereon except as herein otherwise expressly provided. But one who signs in a trade assumed name will be liable to the same extent as if he signed in his own name. Kung minsan kasi baka gumamit tayo ng hindi natin totoong pangalan kasi yun yung parang kumbaga parang trade name natin, yun yung pangalan na kilala tayo ng ating mga clients or customers, di ba? So, pwede yun. Pwede rin naman yun. Pero, actually, parang kumbaga, hindi tayo nagka-create ng another personality na yun. Tayo rin lang yun. So, magiging liable na tayo doon sa instrument as if, okay, tayo yung mismong pumirma. Okay, so, moving on. Signature by an agent. So, Section 19, signature by an agent or authority has how shown. Okay. So, the signature of any party may be made by a duly authorized agent. No particular form of appointment is necessary for this purpose, and the authority of the agent may be established as in other cases of agency. So, ano nga ba ang implication kapag ang nag-sign ng isang negotiable ay isang agent? Okay, syempre, meron tayong general rule kanina na way back sa section 18 natin, no person is liable on the instrument whose signature does not appear thereon. So, yun yung general rule natin. Siyempre, isa na sa mga exemption na nabanggit natin kanina is yung pagpirma in a trade or assumed name. So, yung, although hindi nag-appear yung totoong signature mo, yung personal signature mo, magiging liable ka pa rin. Okay? Ganon din sa signature by an agent. Kapag ginawa ng tama ni agent yung kanyang what do you call this? Yung kanyang responsibility or yung kanyang authority, yung binigay sa kanyang authority lamang, ang mangyayari is hindi siya yung magiging liable dun sa negotiable instrument na yun. Ang magiging liable po is yung principal na nire-represent niya. So by the way, a contract of the agency is a mere extension of the personality of the principal. So lahat ng parang kumbaga pasukan na kontrata ni agent in behalf of the principal, ang magiging liable po doon or ang party na kasama doon sa specific contract na yon ay yung principal. As long as ginawa ng tama ni agent yung kanyang trabaho. Okay? So ano ba yung parang kumbaga para mawala yung liability ni agent dun sa negotiable instrument, ano ba yung mga dapat niyang gawin? Okay. So under section 20, the liability of person signing as agent and so forth, where the instrument contains or a person adds to his signature words indicating that he signs for or on behalf of a principal or in a representative capacity, he is not liable on the instrument if he was duly authorized. Okay? But the mere addition of words describing him as an agent or as feeling as a representative character without disclosing his principal does not exempt him from personal liability. So, based sa section 20, may tatlo tayong requisites para ma-exempt ang agent from liability. Number 1, he is duly authorized. Okay? Pangalawa, kailangan ng indication, malinaw na indication na isa lamang siyang agent. And lastly, kailangan sabihin niya or i-disclose niya kung sino yung principal na nire-represent niya. Okay? So, malinaw na malinaw po yun na nabanggit sa section 20. Okay? So, next, Signature by procuration. So, parang kumbaga ano lang to, almost parang same with signature by an agent, pero dito we are focusing on the authority. Okay? A signature by procuration operates as a notice that the agent has but a limited authority to sign, and the principal is bound only in case the agent in so signing acted within the actual limits of his authority. So, paano po mag-indicate ng signature by procuration? So, for example, ito, isusulat natin yung exact word na per procuration, tapos ilalagay natin yung pangalan natin, or pwede tayong gumamit ng word na per procuration na hindi capitalize, or per pro dot, di ba? Per proc, pwede rin, period, P na malaki, period, P na malaki, pwede rin, or dalawang P tapos period, okay lang din yung mga yan, okay? So, per procuration, okay? Next, endorsement by an infant or corporation. So, gusto ko lang i-emphasize dito yung word na endorsement, endorsement, okay? So, effect of endorsement by infant or corporation. The endorsement or assignment of the instrument by our corporation or by an infant passes the property therein, notwithstanding from what that from one of capacity, the corporation or infant may incur liability. Okay, so explain lang natin to kung anong implication ng Section 22. Kapag ang nag-endorse ay uh, infant or minor, okay, minor, or corporation na nag-a-act beyond its corporate powers. Or therefore, ang kanyang pinaperform na parang power, kunwari, ay mga tinatawag nating ultra-virus act. Okay? So, example tayo, M issues a negotiable promissory note to the order of P, payable to the order of P, isang minor. So, si P, in-endorse niya yung instrument kay A. So, ganito, si A, let's say, hindi siya binayaran ni M. Okay? For example lang. So, nagkaroon ng dishonor. Di ba? So, hindi siya binayaran ni M. So, si A, pwedeng maningil kay P. Kaso, in this case, normally, pwede siya maningil kay P kasi si P ay isang endorser. However, si P ay isang minor or infant as described by Section 22. So in this case, pwedeng gawing defense ni P yung kanyang pagiging infant or minor para hindi masingil ni A. Okay? So ganun lang po kasimple yun kapag endorsement by an infant or corporation. So kapag corporation naman, let's say in-endorse yon ni P, let's say si P ay isang corporation, hindi minor, corporation. Pero yung endorsement niya na yon ay let's say suppose beyond its capacity. Parang kumbaga wala yun sa kanyang powers. Sabi doon sa powers niya, let's say sa bylaws or sa articles of incorporation, bawal siyang mag-endorse without the authority of let's say majority of the board of directors and 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock, for example lang. Okay? Kaso ginawa niya pa rin. Okay? Ewan kung ano nangyari, pero merong nangyari. Okay? So, Ultra-Virus Act yun. At dahil Ultra-Virus Act yun, si A, hindi siya makakasingil kay P as a corporation, if corporation si P. Okay? So, ganun lang po yun. Same concept. Okay? Whether it is an infant or corporation. Okay? And last topic natin for this video, we have forgery. So, basahin muna natin yung forgery dahil medyo mahaba-haba ito. Pero medyo itutuloy na natin yung other topics within the forgery sa separate video dahil medyo mahaba-haba yung part ng forgery when it comes to bills of exchange. So, mafo-focus lang natin today or in this video is yung forgery with regards to promissory notes. Okay? So, Section 23, forged signature. Effect of, okay. When a signature is forged or made without authority of the person whose signature it purports to be, it is wholly inoperative and no right to retain the instrument or to give a discharge therefore or to enforce payment thereof against any party thereto can be acquired through or under such signature unless the party against whom it is sought to enforce such right is precluded from setting up the forgery or one of authority. So, ang forgery po, ang effect niya sa negotiable instruments as a whole, wala po siyang effect. Hindi niya po maapektuhan ang negotiability ng isang instrument. Pero ang maapektuhan niya ay yung na-forge na signature. Okay? Yun po ang maapektuhan. Okay? Yung na-forge na signature. magiging inoperable yun. Okay? So, magbigay tayo ng mga different examples. Okay, so, pero before tayo pumunta sa mga examples, tignan mo natin yung mga different cases of forgery. So, syempre, may mga forgery in the cases of pag-forge ng maker or drawer signature, di ba? May mga forgery din na fino-forge natin yung mga tinatawag nating endorsement. And by the way, ang endorsement, mapag-aralan natin yan in details when it comes to negotiation. Okay? Okay, so ito lang po yung dapat tandaan when it comes to the rule of forged endorsements. Okay? When it comes to the rule on forged endorsements. So tingnan natin tong rule dito sa on the right. Okay? Where note payable to order. Okay? So ang rule po natin, party whose signature was forged is not liable to a holder, even a holder in due course. Kapag note payable to bearer naman, okay, the party whose endorsement is forged is liable to a holder in due course, but not to one who is not a holder in due course. Okay, so magbigay tayo ng example. Okay, M makes a note payable to the order of P. P endorses it to A. X obtains possession of the note fraudulently and endorses it to B by forging A's signature. B endorses it to C. Okay? So, question. Can C go against M if C is a holder in due course? Okay. So, i-analyze muna natin itong problem. Anong klaseng instrument to? Isa itong order instrument. So, sabi, ang rule natin when it comes to order instrument at nagkaroon ng forgery when it comes to endorsement. Okay? So, by the way, ang na-forge po yung signature ni P, hindi ni M, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Okay? Kasi ibang usapan kapag ang na-forge ay yung signature ni M. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yun kapag ang na-forge ay ang signature ni maker. Pero this time, ang na-forge po ay endorsement. Okay? So, na-forge yung endorsement ni P. Okay? So, ang tanong, si C ba, pwede ba siyang maningil kay M if C is a holder in due course or C is not a holder in due course? So, sabi dito, party whose signature was forged is not liable to a holder, even a holder in due course. Okay, so, ang sagot natin ay can C go against M if C is a holder in due course? Ang sagot po natin dyan ay no. Okay? No. At no din, lalo. Okay? Pero, sir, ang nakalagay po dyan, the party whose signature was forged is not liable, even a holder in due course. Okay. Pero ang tinatanong, sir, M, si maker. Ang party na na-forge yung kanyang signature ay si P. Okay? Si P. Si payee. Ibig sabihin, sa kanya siya dapat hindi makakolekta kahit na holder in due course. Okay? The answer is actually you are correct. Okay? Pag ganun ang nasa isipan mo, pag binasa mo tong specific, yung tawag dito, specific, what do you call this, rule. Okay? Tama ka. Hindi nga makakasingil si C kay P. Dahil siya yung na-forge yung kanyang, what do you call this, endorsement. However, okay, lahat ng mga subsequent parties to the person na na-forge yung subsequent, prior parties, lahat ng mga prior parties doon sa person na na-forge yung kanyang signature, hindi rin pwedeng masingil. Dahil, bakit? Kasi, na-cut off yung title up to the point na, ayun nga, okay, up to the point na ng forgery. Okay? Na-cut off doon. Ibig sabihin, hindi nag-pass yung title from M to C. Nag-pass lang yung title from M to P. Okay? So lahat ng title na nag-pass beyond kay P, let's say nag-pass beyond, papunta kay B, papunta kay C, hindi po yun yung title which is originally forming from M making the promissory note. Okay? So in this case, kapag ang tanong natin, si M, makakasingil ba siya kay M? No pa rin ang sagot natin. Dahil siya isang prior party. Okay? Prior party to P. At lalong-lalo na si P. Okay? So, let's suppose, ang na-forge yung B, yung kay B. Okay? Okay, so mukhang nagkamali pala tayo dito, okay? Mukhang nagkamali pala tayo dito. Ang na-forge ay si A. Okay? Ay si A. Okay, so okay, erase lang, erase lang. Okay? Medyo nadala ako ng aking emosyon at akala ko si P ang na-forge. Okay, si A pala, si A. Pero it doesn't change the fact na tama pa rin yung sinabi ko kanina. Okay? So ayan, mas maganda actually ngayon, mas maganda yung example natin, di ba? Okay. So na-forge yung uh, na-forge yung signature ni A as an endorser, okay? So, sabi dito, sa rule, party whose signature was forged is not liable to a holder, even a holder in due course. So, kapag ang tanong natin, baka kasingil ba si C kay A? Automatically, yes. Ay, no, no. Ang sagot natin, no. Hindi siya makakasingil. Even if he was a holder in due course, wala tayong paki doon dahil nandito sa rule natin, yung signature na forge, kahit na holder in due course pa yan, hindi po tayo makakasingil. Okay. Okay. Pero nandyan yung rule na lahat ng prior parties doon sa na-forge yung kanyang signature, hindi niya rin masisingil. Bakit? Kasi na-cut off yung title up to A. Okay? Na-cut off yung title up to A. So therefore, ayan, si C, kanino lang pwede maningil? Kay bilang. Okay? Kay bilang. Bukod sa pagiging immediate party ni C, si B, di ba? Si B ay isang endorser at isa pa hindi siya prior party to the Ang prior party, so tignan natin, illustrate natin. M P A, 'di ba? Si A yung siya yung na-forge, 'di ba? B C. Okay, si C, siya yung holder. Sabihin na natin holder in due course. So, ang hindi nga pwedeng singilan, si C hindi pwedeng makakasingil kay P, kay M, kay P, and kay A, lalo na kay A. So, inuulit ko, okay, ang rule po natin when it comes to forgery of endorsement, hindi po natin masisingilan yung na-forge yung kanyang endorsement, pati na rin yung mga prior parties dun sa person na yun. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yan. So, ang sagot po natin sa number 1, no and no. Okay. Ang sagot natin sa number 2, ganun din, lalo. No and no, di ba? Kasi ito yung mismong na-forge yung kanyang signature. Okay? So, tatandaan po natin to. Ito po yung rule when it comes to order instrument. Ano naman ang rule when it comes to bearer instrument? So, malinaw na malinaw dito yung rule sa bearer instrument. So, another example. Okay? This time, hindi na tayo magkakamali. Alam na natin na si A ang na-forge yung kanyang signature. So, hindi natin nabasa mabuti kanina. Ang dami nating sinabi. Pero actually, walang mali dun sa sinabi natin. Bukod dun sa akala natin si P, siya yung na-forge. Okay? So, basahin natin. This time, bearer instrument naman ito. Bearer. Okay? So, sabi dito, where note payable to bearer, so the party whose endorsement is forged is liable to a holder in due course, but not to a one who is not a holder in due course. Okay. So, ganito. Okay, ganito ha. Ang tanong, okay, can C go against M if C is a holder in due course or if C is not a holder in due course? Okay. Yun ang tanong. Actually, ang sagot natin dito ay yes. Okay? Yes. Anong sagot natin sa letter B? Yes pa rin. Yes pa rin. Yes pa rin. Tama kayo nang narinig. Yes pa rin po yan. Okay? Bakit? Kasi bearer po ito. At ang bearer, hindi po kailangan na ma-endorse. Okay? So, kahit na, let's say, na-forge yung signature ni A, for example, okay, hindi naman kasi kailangan na i-endorse ang isang bearer instrument. Sapat na ang delivery lang. Okay? Hindi po kailangan ng endorsement kapag bearer. Pag-aaralan po natin yun in detail, yung pagkakaiba ng, di ba? Kung ano ba yung endorsement na yan. Okay? Pag-aaralan natin sa siguro third video, yung mga different kinds of endorsements, di ba? Okay, so ayan. Hindi po kailangan na endorse kapag bearer yung instrument. Sapat na ang delivery lang para ma-negotiate. Okay, so in this case, ang mangyayari, kahit na na-forge yung signature ni A, walang problema. Magpapas pa rin yung title kay C. Okay, at dahil nagpass yung title kay C, lahat ng mga hindi na-forge yung kanyang signature, pwede niya pa rin singilin. Okay, including the maker, including P. Okay, including P, including the payee. So in this case, if can C goes against M, If C is a holder in due course, yes. Kahit na hindi siya holder in due course, yes pa rin. Pero magkakaroon tayo ng pagkakaiba ng sagot dito sa number 2. Can C go against A? The answer is yes pag siya ay isang holder in due course. Dahil ito po ay isang personal defense lang po. Okay? Ito naman, letter B. If C is not a holder in due course, pwede ba siyang makasingil against A? The answer is no, based sa ating rule na nabanggit dito. The party whose endorsement is forged is liable to a holder in due course but not to one who is not a holder in due course. Okay, so malinaw po dyan. Hindi po siya liable to a person not holder in due course. So si C, kapag siya ay hindi holder in due course, hindi po siya makakasingil against A na na-forge yung kanyang endorsement. Okay ba? So sana malinaw na malinaw po yun. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa forgery ng maker, yung signature ng maker. Okay, so P makes a promissory note payable to his own order. So pwede yun, di ba? Nabanggit natin yung kanina. Forging M signature. Okay? So in this case, okay, inoperable po yung signature ni M. Okay? Hindi, in no case na masingil si M dito sa ganitong klaseng instance. Bakit? Hindi siya pumirma. Okay? Maker ang na-forge. Okay? Maker ang na-forge dito. Okay? So, source pa lang na-forge na. So, parang kumbaga, although pwedeng mag-take effect yung negotiable instrument later on, pero as against M, na na-forge yung kanyang signature, wala po tayong right of recourse against M. Kahit na holder in due course ka pa, hindi ka makakasingil kay M. Okay? So, for example, if P negotiates A to B, B to C, okay, nakalimutan natin ilagay, and C to D, regardless of D being a holder in due course or not, D cannot collect from M. So, ganun lang po yung kasimple. Kahit sino sa kanila, hindi po pwedeng makakollect kay M. Okay? Kahit na holder in due course ka pa. So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Okay? So, I believe this is the last slide of our video for today. So, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And next lesson, pag-aaralan po natin yung different considerations when it comes to negotiable instruments. So, thank you and goodbye.